And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our second episode of Bowling Explained. I'm Jason Thomas, your host. Hope you enjoyed the first one with Tom Frenzel. We really geeked out, nerded out on statistics and probabilities with respect to margin for error in lane play. Today, we've got an equally cool guest. I don't think she's as much of a nerd, maybe a little bit. I don't know. We'll have to ask her about that. But it's Valerie Bercier. We had her on the PWBA podcast a few weeks ago, and I had a really mind-blowing conversation with her as well as with Aaron Smith, and learned a lot about what she's doing other than the fact of being a great bowler. She is. I'm going to introduce her in a second here, but our topic today is really going to be health and fitness. A lot of people say that health and fitness has no place in bowling. A lot of people think that, bowling is for people that, aren't athletes. And, they a lot of times will say, the more you drink, the better you get. So it can't be a sport. It couldn't be further from the truth in my personal experience as a competitive bowler, and also, having the opportunity to watch the pro tours, both the men's and the women's. I've always felt that the better you take care of yourself, the better you're going to be at the sport of bowling. The other piece of it also, for the non-pros out there is, as we get older, I know this is speaking from personal experience as well, your body tends to break down, and sometimes you have some issues with pain. And I know Valerie has worked with a lot of clients to help alleviate some of that through health and fitness. So without further ado, let's bring her on. She is a double major in dietetics and exercise science. She got her degree from the University of Nebraska at Lincoln, while also being one of the top collegiate bowlers in the country. After she got her undergraduate degree, she got a master's degree in nutrition at the University of Rhode Island. And she then became a health coach with Optavia in 2017. So, by the way, she's also the Rookie of the Year on the PWBA Tour, and was a finalist at the 2017 U.S. Women's Open. Valerie, how are you today?
Hey, Jason. Doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. Doing as well as can be expected.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So I mentioned, a little bit of your background, and I know we talked about it on the podcast a few weeks ago, but maybe for some people that weren't able to see that, what is your educational background, and how did you get into the field of dietetics and nutrition?
It's so interesting to hear it being, said back to me, because I worked when I was in the thick of it, getting the education. It was hard. I don't know if I would do it again. I probably would do it again, but and expensive. But so I have a nutrition, exercise, and health science degree, tacked on dietetics in my second year, because as an NEHS, that's what they called it, nutrition, exercise, health science major, they were like, hey, if you take 7 extra classes, you can get a major in dietetics and then become a registered dietitian. At the time, I had no idea what that even was. And there's a difference between
what is the difference? I mean, my mind goes to, what's the difference between nutrition and dietetics?
Yes, right, exactly. There's a difference, and at one point, it mattered to me. My ego cared about it, but it. And I think it's really just because we have the undergraduate bachelor's of science degree plus 40 weeks of supervised practice within the dietetics field. And you can be a clinical dietitian, outpatient, food service management, community, like WIC, SNAP. There's so many avenues that you can go as a registered dietitian. And then there's also an exam after you do the paid. I'm sorry, I don't even know how to say it. You pay for the internship. You're not paid to do the internship. You pay for it.
Okay.
I know it
sounds like a good deal for them.
Right, exactly. The only one that is paid or supplemented is through the VA. And as a Canadian, I wasn't eligible to get that internship. But I decided to you can do, it's called an MSRD, so Master of Science and RD combined in 2000 and I guess it was 12 when I applied. And that's why I went to the University of Rhode Island, because they had an MSRD program to where when you do the master's degree, you also do the internship at the same time. And then you're eligible to take the exam and you have to, pass it. And it was extremely stressful.
Now, I assume that some people go to college and they just major in whatever feels right, and they don't ever plan on doing anything with that degree other than just getting out of college. But I assume especially when you decided to get your master's degree, you had some, idea that you would be going into this business, right? When you finished school, at what point did you make that decision?
It wasn't until after my master's, probably. Actually, so when I made the decision to go into the weight loss space was when I couldn't find a job, for one, as an RD. It was so hard. I mean, I moved up to New Hampshire. I moved in with my fiance at the time, now my husband, and I was looking for jobs everywhere. And it was just mind blowing to me. I was like, oh my gosh, I spent all this money on an education, and maybe it was because I didn't actually know what I wanted to do. So I worked as a WIC nutritionist, and I loved it. I got great experience. I loved connecting with the women, infants and children, pregnant mom, breastfeeding moms. And then the government, did I share that the last time about the government when I applied for permanent residency?
I don't think you did.
Oh, no. Man, that story. Oh, gosh. Heart-wrenching. I feel like I shared it at one point. Anyway, I tell my story all the time. So I think
we talked about everything else but that.
About that. Here we go. For everybody that's, coming to see me again, speak on this. The government, so applying for permanent residency as a Canadian citizen and, through marriage, you have to stop working for 3 months and you have to stop traveling for 3 months. You have to get authorization for employment and travel. And so I applied, and just kind of FYI, some people look at my Facebook and go, wait, I thought you guys got married 4 years ago. And yet we celebrated our 5th anniversary. And it was because we got married. We got married August 20th of 2015. And then we had our big wedding that nobody knew that we were already married for a year. Because I just wanted to make it really special for everybody else too, and really have that big beach wedding that I really wanted. But anyway, long story short, we got married. I started that application process. Not only is it time consuming, but very expensive. And at the time I had to stop working. So I couldn't afford student loans. I couldn't afford to hire a lawyer. And so I tried to do it on my own. I feel like I was pretty successful with it, except for the fact that I didn't read that you can't travel. And I had a Team Canada event, Champion of Champions tournament in Mexico that I left the country for.
Oh. Whoops.
Thinking I was going to be fine to get back in on my student visa, but I had already put in my permanent residency application. So they let me back in, which, thank God. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, you're sitting in a prison in Mexico right now.
I know. Yeah. Thankfully, I got, I transferred in Houston back to New Hampshire, and they kind of looked at it funny. And to be honest, I really do feel that it's because I'm like this young, white, female, you know what I mean? Like I felt like I should have been kicked back to Canada. And anyway, I was like, holy cow, I need to figure this out. But anyway, I went to the officer meeting, the Border Patrol officer, and they said, Valerie, you actually should have been kicked back to Canada. And I was like, okay, so what do I got to do now? Thank God, because I would not have wanted to spend that much time away from my husband. So, they make it hard for you. I had to reapply, pay thousands of dollars more, and spend more time not working. And it was in that 3-month period where I was super depressed. It was over the winter at this point, and I didn't know. I felt very victimized. I felt, why is this happening to me? I worked so hard for my degree. I have so much to offer, and yet I can't work. I can't even, people that are off furloughed for COVID, going through all of this. I want to say at least you have other people that are going through the same thing. At the time, I had nobody. I was like, this is happening to me. It's the worst thing ever. I was so depressed. And of course, when you don't have control over your life, you start trying to control other things, like your husband, who if you've ever met my husband, you know that that doesn't fly, right?
You can't control the uncontrollable.
Oh, yeah, right. You had to, and so thank God for it was like, so I love, it all works out, obviously. When you're going through the thick of it, you have no idea when the end is going to come or what's going to happen. But I happened to have met a fellow Canadian in the little town of Derry, New Hampshire, and her name is Narmeen, and she grew up not that far from where I grew up in Toronto. And because she was Canadian, she had gone through this process before. I get goosebumps thinking about how much she literally saved me, because she goes, Valerie, you're so young and you get this opportunity to have 3 months off. Just take advantage of it. She's like, just, what can you do? Just there's nothing you can do right now except wait. So what can you do? And that's when I discovered that, hey, what do I have control over? What I have control over is what I want to do. And then I started dreaming a little bit, dreaming about what I really wanted to do, instead of being told, you have to go get a 9-to-5 job. You have to go, do X, Y, and Z. And actually, because this is a bowling podcast, I bowled more. I actually believe I bowled a couple PWBA events in the summer. I had zero money. So thank God for, the Mike who sponsored me, trusted me with his money. And 2017, that TV show that you did mention, right? I just got employment authorization, I believe, in February of that year. And so I had been practicing and all of that stuff and really getting clear on what I wanted. And I bowled a couple events prior. I think I had almost made the TV show in Rochester, which I guess it wasn't like a big, it wasn't the US Open.
Standard event. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I went to Finland and didn't bowl well. Went to Houston for the Lucy, did not bowl well. And I was like, what kids? Come on. So I really set my intention on what can I do at the US Women's Open. And I love long formats. I'm a huge fan of them because it shows how well you've nourished your body, how well you've maintained your energy, and just, it's endurance and stamina. And as they say, the cream of the crop rises to the top. Is that the saying?
Yeah. No, I mean, the US Open, it's, that's not for the faint of heart.
Right.
Even for the staff.
It is grueling for everybody.
Yeah, it's designed that way for sure. I know you.
I apologize, Jason, if you're.
Oh no, it's okay. So how did you end up with what you're doing now?
Yeah, kind of circling back to that. Actually, it was probably November of 2016. Awesome chiropractor, Dr. Jonathan Yalachuk, reached out to me over LinkedIn, actually, and he goes, what are you doing as a dietitian for your clients? And I go, funny you should ask, because I don't really know. And then I wasn't really looking to start a practice at that time. And then insert employment authorization break, I'm not working. So what else do I have to do except think about what I want to do? And that's when I decided, what is it that I have a passion for? What needs to be done? And the obesity crisis in this country at that time was like 66%, and now it's approaching 80. And so I was like, people need help. And I kept thinking of all of my friends and family that would come to me, Valerie, you're a dietitian, help me lose weight. And I would try. And it just wasn't simple enough, for them. And so then this.
It wasn't what? Okay, so yeah, I was curious about it. They were going to another place, and it wasn't simple enough. So you developed something that was a little simpler.
Actually, the opposite.
Okay.
Yeah, they were coming to me, and what I was telling them wasn't simple enough at the time.
Okay.
So, like the big things that I'll mention for everybody that, you don't have to do our program. It's, it is what it is. If you want to, obviously you can, but you can make significant changes by cutting out soda, cutting out highly refined processed carbs, reducing your portion sizes, increasing your fruits and vegetables, right? Like, I feel like everybody knows this, and it's just a matter of doing it. And so when Dr. Yalachek reached out to me and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" It was with Optavia to implement it, because he implemented it in his practice, was having great results with his patients, and wanted to share it with fellow like-minded people that were on the same mission. And so in February-ish of 2017, I had a conversation with him, and I said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know at the time, but it was exactly what I was looking for," because I remember, and I don't know if any of my teammates remember this, but I had a mental breakdown, I would call it, in my junior year, as I was approaching, at the end of school, getting my dietetics degree, and everybody wanted a quick fix. Nobody wanted, to do the hard work to get healthy. And so I freaked out and was like, how am I going to compete with the diet industry? I literally freaked out. And like you mentioned actually earlier, people just major it, like they kind of go with what they think they like and then figure it out. I literally almost considered not going into this field, because I was like, seriously, the diet industry is a $1 billion industry. How am I going to compete? And, Optavia, if from the outside, it looks like a diet, but from the inside, because if you just go to the website, I don't suggest doing that, by the way. You can, you're going to get some information, but it's going to look like meal replacements, like anything else. But what you don't see is all of the education, and the screen's mirrored. All of the education. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So Dr. Anderson co-founded the company, 20 years ago. And there's just so much in it. Like, he teaches you, the plate system. There's blood sugar. I have tabs in here because I always reference these, blood sugar spikes and drops. And so it really teaches you about health, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally. There's a huge reason I made that TV show in 2017. And that was because I was mentally in a better place. I had started meditating, fueling my body better.
I have a couple of things I want to ask you about here, because it's interesting. One is I did some work with Mark Baker, on his book and his DVD. And one of the interesting things that he told me, the process of becoming a coach for him it sounds very similar to you, because he said when he first started coaching, he would regurgitate a lot of the things that he had learned. But then when he started having to convince people to do it, he didn't believe in it. And so he had to develop his own system for being able to explain to people why, he was telling them what he was telling them. So it sounds like that was something, you also had to overcome in your process to getting where you are, right?
Yeah, you definitely have to believe in what you're teaching wholeheartedly. And Mark Baker is a great coach. I know he's worked with a lot of people, and I think that there has to be some passion there too. I didn't know that I wanted to be a coach, because as a dietitian, you provide medical nutrition therapy for managing disease states, which, granted, there's a lot of disease, and I have a passion for type 2 diabetes and reducing blood sugars and stuff. But I really do believe in healing. The body was designed, if you cut yourself, you're going to heal, right? If you break a bone, your body just has this innate healing, but you have to set it up that way. You can't expect your gas tank to run on water. Is pretty much what I'm saying. Yeah.
And I do want to get into kind of the mental health benefits of it as well, because I know in my own personal experience that was probably even bigger than the physical benefits. But if somebody wants to work with you and they have a problem, how does that process work?
Well, we do free health assessments. I think that's where I would start. You can go to my website. It's burberryhealth.com, and it's BER like Burr Sear, and then Berry like Cal Berry. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You're so sweet. I appreciate
I got
that.
it.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, so then and by the way, it's a work in progress. I literally created this before I started my practice, and it has just been a constant work in progress. You know how for all the business owners out there, you got to like work in your business most of the time, but then you got to work on your business. That's one of those things where I'm just constantly trying to work on it, make it a little bit better. And it says meet our team. I do have a bunch of health coaches that I work with and I've partnered with, and I just need to add their bios and stuff. And so if you press contact me, you just put your information and it'll send me an email and I'll reach out to you and schedule that health assessment. Yep. If you just scroll down, there you go. And that's it. When we do that, I assess all areas of your life. You know, what's your stress like? And I just had a health assessment with a gal who said Monday through Friday, it was like 8.5, 9. I mean, that's stress, right?
Yeah. I actually was going to put my own email in there.
There
So
you go.
yeah,
I would love to do a health assessment with you, Jason.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I think I need help.
Yeah. And I guess, it's also called initial consultation. It's more just, what is it that you currently do? What are your goals? What have you done in the past? And that makes a difference because you may have found things that did work. And then what happened? The reason we ask, like, what happened? What do you struggle with? What are some of the things that you really feel you need? Oh, Chris is he has lost a bunch of weight on our program. I'm so proud of him and his wife. They're awesome people. They do amazing work themselves with the Salvation Army. Anyway, so when we know what you struggle with, then we can help you long term, because our program is so simple and so structured. It's so easy to follow, but life gets in the way. So when we know what gets in the way, we change the habit. And so it's not just like, hey, just follow this meal plan and you'll get the results. We actually work with creating and how to deal with problems better. We call it Dr. Anderson. I'm not going to take credit for like any of this, by the way. It's all Dr. Anderson. Stop, challenge, choose. So if something happens where you're confronted with a cake or pizza or party event, whatever, stop for a second. And then you have to challenge yourself and your thoughts. Is it going to serve me and bring me toward that goal that I set for myself? Or is it going to set me backwards? And when you create that space between the stimulus and the response, I just learned this from the book. I'm just repeating. But anyway, stimulus is that. And then when you respond, when you create that, instead of it being an automatic behavior, then you can actually choose. So stop, challenge, choose what you want. And it is so freeing when you can actually choose something that's in your favor. And it goes with like relationships too. Your coworkers coming at you with something.
Yeah.
What's our automatic response is to, come at them again, like back.
Right.
But we stop, challenge, choose, take a deep breath, become conscious, and then respond. Am I perfect at that? Mm-mm.
Well, yeah. Nobody's perfect at anything. But so when somebody decides they want to go with you, like how do you communicate all that stuff with them? Do you have like weekly meetings or monthly meetings to check on progress and give them plans and things like that?
Yep. We actually talk a lot in the beginning because it's hard when you're starting a new plan, and we want to make sure that we work out some of those kinks surroundings, planning for your work day. And then, so we talk every day for the first 4 days on the phone, 5 minutes, quick, easy. I get to call you. I can call you, if I'm in Michigan and you're in California, for example, like it doesn't matter, just pick up the phone. And then it's weekly after that, typically. But I leave it open. My clients can text me if they have questions, because again, if they have an event and they want to stop challenge twos, whether I respond or not, I'm there. And they know that they can text me and just say, or even bounce ideas. Hey, I'm about to do this. Do you think this is the best choice? And then typically I just guide as a coach, because our goal is to teach people how to fish. And it feels so good to be like, oh, here's the fish, eat it, and thank me for it. Feels good. But we want to empower people, because I've been coached and it's hard to be coached. It's hard to be coachable and teachable.
Yeah. Another interesting thing, I would go back to Mark, because that's my own, experience with his coaching, was he said, the most challenging part is that if you don't offer people results right away, they're not going to continue with the program. And so
that's exactly it.
Yeah. I mean, even though, I'm sure it'd be easy to say, well, if you give me 3 years, we'll get there. But they want something in like a month or a week. So how do you deal with that problem?
That's exactly how I compete with the diet industry, because we offer meal replacements. It's such perfect nutrition that when you do it 100% for 7 days, you're going to lose weight. The scale is going to reflect it. And it's amazing how it happens. But with that decrease in inflammation, and I know that that we talked about it a little bit on the other podcast, and we might want to talk about it now, but just that when you're fueling your body really well with good nutrition, good protein, frequently drinking a ton of water, which I'm like, I don't know, I keep drinking a lot of water on these things, but I just do it. Like every time I mention it, I drink water. So when you do that, you decrease that inflammation, which is like water retention. It's kind of like it's a bruise. It's almost like a bruise in your body that you're when the nutrients go into those joints, they heal it and release some of those toxins. And even if you've been on medications, there's residues and all that. There's a bunch of stuff that you just kind of flush out. And then when you hop on the scale, like, holy smokes, I just lost, 5 to 8 pounds. Hey, this might work.
Yeah.
And then you just keep going. And of course, we deal with a lot of other challenges when it comes to that too.
Yeah. And that's kind of the next, it's 28 minutes in. We're going to start talking about how this applies to bowling. I know you have a lot of bowlers as clients. Specifically, I mean, I'm sure weight loss is in a lot of cases the main goal, right? But I'm sure there are secondary goals related to that, like either reducing pain or being able to bowl for longer periods of time. What are some of the problems that bowlers come to you with that they're trying to solve?
A lot of it is pain. A lot of it's just discomfort in their skin because they have extra fat on their bodies. And I don't know if you guys are picking up, I'm very conscious in the way that I word things, or at least I try to be. You're not fat. Okay. And I hate when my clients say, I'm just this big fat person. It's like, that doesn't help you. That's like saying you're a bad spare shooter. It doesn't, are you going to become a better spare shooter because you're saying you're a bad one? So we got to say, like, I've missed spares in my life, but I've also made a lot of them. It's a big analogy. And I'm first of all, for those of my bowling clients that are watching, I'm so grateful for you. If it wasn't for bowling, I would not be where I am right now. And I get goosebumps thinking about it, because the fact that they put so much trust in me. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so back to my point. Weight, discomfort, pain, and then just confidence too. They want to be able to feel better. They want to compete better. But that's primarily who I see are mainly league bowlers.
Okay.
So be able to compete in league and tournaments.
Yeah. And what problems do they usually come to you with?
Knee pain. Again, just like discomfort. Maybe their clothes don't fit anymore and they're just fed up. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if somebody were to come to you with knee pain, how would you get at that problem, from what you do standpoint?
Well, I can't guarantee that I'm going to get rid of their knee pain, right? Because I think, you and I were talking earlier where it could be the result of their game or a flaw, fundamental flaw. Could be, or that they're, not strong enough, which That's not my area of exercise. Even though I majored in exercise science, not really. I don't prescribe fitness anymore. I refer them to Heather Dorico with BullFit, with for that type of thing. And oftentimes, when we get started on our program, you start losing weight. They want to move more and they want to become more active, which is great because I think strength training is awesome. So then when they're at that point, I always refer to Heather for a strength training type of program. And then a lot of the time, though, to get back to your question about how do I alleviate it, I go with the basis of decreasing systemic inflammation in the body. So typically when you fuel your body well, those aches and pains often go away. Of course, we can't guarantee, but most of the time, they're sleeping better, they're hydrating. So oftentimes they do.
Got a couple of comments here.
Oh, yes. Amen. Yep. No. If you want to get better, then you got
I had a mentor tell me when I told her I was a loser, and she said, "What have you lost?"
I love it.
I was like, what do you mean? Just I'm searching for sympathy here. Yeah. Tell me I'm not a loser.
Right, exactly. No, you're not. That would be being the hero.
So getting into nutrition, you talked about, exercise. I know there are a lot of players on the women's tour and also on the men's tour who exercise a lot, but who are some of the players that you feel like, are serious about nutrition as well?
The ones that are serious about, I know Shannon O'Keefe for sure. I mean, she is very conscious about how much she moves her body and the strength gains, physical. And so nutrition, I mean, Heather Dorico for sure. She's probably got a better diet than I do, and then there's a lot of other, Liz Johnson, 100%. She's asked me questions and I'm like, man, you probably know more than I do. I appreciate you coming to me. Kelly Kulick, very conscious about what she puts in her body. And there's probably quite a few else out there. They're not coming to the top of my head right now.
What you talked a little bit about your diet and what's like a typical day or I don't know how long a cycle is of your diet, but what's a typical diet cycle for you? Like, what are you eating? Are you eating stuff that's tastes good? are you eating enough? What are you eating and how often?
It really depends. I really feel like the way I feel my body and how it's always going to get better is pretty much the point. Like you can never become complacent. Just like in bowling, if you don't practice, if you don't work on your game, you're going to go backwards. So same thing with diet. Like when our goal is to have people become conscious of what they're doing and what they're putting in their mouths. And then to the point where they're fueling with lean proteins, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, very nutrient dense. So if you look at the back of a package, if it doesn't have fiber, if it's all carbohydrates, like if it's not balanced, then it's not great fuel. A lot of people kind of just go with, if it grows in the ground, then you want to eat it, right? Plant-based, organic, that sort of thing. So
what's the difference between what you eat during the tour season versus like when you're not bowling every day?
Yeah, that's a great question. Again, it varies. So right now, what I'm doing is I eat every 2 to 3 hours always, small portions, drink a lot of water. We buy a ton of, especially in the summer, we buy a ton of salad mix. I mean, my husband, we have a friend that lives with us right now too, and we literally have big, huge containers of spring mix in there. So we always have, spring mix, cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers. I love peppers, all different colors. So I try to vary my veggies, and I eat a lot of eggs, and then I don't eat a lot of beef. If I do, it's like a big mat. We call it Mac in a bowl. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll see we try to make our recipes fulfill the flavors and the cravings that most people eat on a daily basis, but that are just not suitable for weight loss. So we do a lot of spaghetti squash in place of pasta. And that changes though, because if I'm lifting and I'm strength training, I do need more carbs and I need more protein in order to build muscle. So if I'm kind of like trying to build muscle, then I'm going to change my diet. When I was running the half marathon while bowling last year, or I should say training while on tour last year, I was able to eat more carbs. I really tried to stay more toward the nutrient dense ones. So not white bread. Yeah, there you go. Danielle. That's a great recipe. Exactly. Eat the rainbow. Perfect. And that goes with fruits too. Vary the colors of your fruits and veggies. It's a great starting point. If you don't like vegetables, just keep trying them. Just keep.
Yeah, that's a big thing with my wife. We always kind of make fun of her because she says, that your plate has to have a lot of color on it. And it's like, well, I'll just put some ketchup and some mustard and
yeah, red.
And you mentioned mac. I know, don't Canadians typically eat mac and cheese with ketchup?
Oh, I did. I totally did that.
Oh, okay.
And like
not anymore.
I have not. We actually call it KD as well, craft dinner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was dinner in a box. Super nutritious. I don't fault my parents at all for giving me what they did by any means. I just realized I don't even know. It might be fortified these days. Might be like B vitamins and stuff. And I don't know. I have a hard time with that.
Okay. I just had to ask because, I know.
I ate a lot of ketchup too. I don't eat a lot of ketchup anymore.
Yeah, it's not a great, isn't it like all sugar?
Yeah, high fructose corn syrup, preservatives. There's certain things that I'm like constantly evolving. I'm not perfect by any means, and I don't expect anybody to be. And I really try not to shame or judge or like, it's your choice what you want. I just hope that at some point you can, if you want to make a change, then you'll make a change.
Yeah. So what did you eat before the 2017 U.S. Women's Open show?
Oh, that was so funny. I think we all went to Raising Cane's, but I actually sat there and I didn't eat.
Oh, okay.
I had my friend drive me over to Subway for like a sandwich with a bunch of veggies on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That was like right before the last round of qualifying, but right before the show, I'm probably a couple Fuelings, couple of the meal replacements that we have, because I just started as an Optavia coach at that time.
Okay.
And those things are great because they balance your blood sugar, they make you feel full.
But you don't want to eat a big meal before something like that, do you?
No.
You don't typically eat like a giant meal before like an 8-game qualifying round at the US Open, or?
I don't. I did struggle with eating too much in general. I was on the binge restrict kind of thing. And I know people are watching me that are on that right now, and it's hard to stop that. But I really just now try to listen to my body. So if I'm full, just stop eating. And because the last thing I want to do is go into a round uncomfortable.
And then, do you eat while you're bowling?
Absolutely. Always.
How long usually before you gotta eat something?
Usually like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
So you could probably get through a league session without eating, but definitely not like a 8-game qualifying block.
100% not 8 games. I will eat like 3 or 4 times in that period of time. But league, it's so funny because I know the owner of Sherman Bowling Lanes here, and I bowled league there, and his name's Mike. And I actually showed up and I bowled on his team with a salad at his bowling center. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so like, I really hope that it's okay that I brought my own salad. And he was like, oh, it's totally fine. But I, sometimes I drink like Merlot. It's weird drinking wine at a bowling center. I get it. You don't need to judge me. Sometimes I'll order a couple, glasses of wine, or some like hard seltzers or something while I bowl league. So I still try to support them in that way. I don't buy Bowling Alley food all that often.
What's your take on alcohol? Is it bad, good? Is it one glass of wine a day? I mean, some people, have different opinions on that.
Yeah, in the Habits of Health book that I showed earlier, there's research showing that a glass of red wine a day has some benefits to it. In excess, anything in excess is, I feel, not a good thing. So there are certain low carb or no carb choices that our clients, when they're in a fat burn, which I'm going to be talking about this in an article in the BTM here soon, just all about the fat burning process and how it all works and how meal replacements work and stuff like that. They can do that and still remain in a fat burn, but of course it's going to slow. It's a toxin. Your body has to get rid of it.
Right. What about no alcohol at all? Is that better than a little bit of alcohol? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Same with caffeine. I mean, if you don't like caffeine or you don't require it or it's a drug and I'm addicted to it. So
caffeine.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I've tried to go off coffee. And I was able to get through the headaches after the first couple of days, but then I snapped at a coworker and I was like, that I've never done that before. So I immediately, right after that happened, and he was so cool about it. He was just like, oh, it's no big deal. I get it. I immediately went and grabbed a cup of coffee, and I haven't missed a day since.
No,
yeah.
I've done it, and I just don't. I don't know. I love black coffee. I learned how to drink it in grad school really quick when I was either going to fall asleep at my desk, or just drink it black because I did not have time, literally, to go and get the creamers and all that stuff. I just had to drink it. So I like it now, though.
Yeah. Well, just get your teeth whitened every couple of years, and everything's good. You just got them done.
Oh, the sun coming in makes a big difference.
It helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to have you on the show again for sure. We can talk about some more specific things, maybe even my own personal weight loss development plan after I email you at your website. But how can people get in touch with you if they want some help?
Yeah, the website that you pulled up earlier, they contact me section. They can email me. I think my email is on there as well. If it isn't, just Valerie@burberryhealth.com. Yeah, might not. Oh yeah, right down there at the bottom, Valerie@burberryhealth.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. You can, friend request me if you want. Yep, there you go. I think I have a Pinterest board attached there. Forgive me if some of the links don't work. But yeah, if you message me on Facebook and we're not friends, then sometimes it'll just go into like a, I don't know, junk area. But I'll try my best to respond and set up that health assessment.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show again today.
Well, Jason, seriously, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. It's fun. I honestly could do this all day with you. You're a great question asker, interviewer, and conversationalist. Seriously, it's so easy.
Well, we'll have you on again. Just let me know if you have any interesting stories or, maybe we can, if I email you about my own personal thing, maybe we can go on and give an update. I have actually lost 15 pounds since the pandemic started.
Get out. Good
yeah,
for you.
But I've kind of leveled off. So I think I might need some help getting, I still have another 15 to lose, I think. So okay. I might need your help with that. So sure. maybe we can document that on the show and have you on like every month or something. We can do our, assessments in front of, millions of people.
Let's do we got a little deep, we got a little personal. So let's chat first, and then if you want to divulge to everybody.
Whatever you have to say to me, the rest of the world can know too.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again for coming on, and stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
You too. Thank you. Take care.
You too. That's Valerie Bercier, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed that. I know I always enjoy talking to Valerie, and like she said, I could go on for hours. Very interesting and fascinating person, and it's got a lot of interesting information, and a lot of topics, and can really help, I think, bowlers as well, because she's got that insight into bowling as a professional herself. So if you have any questions for her, feel free to reach out through the information that we gave out here on the show. I hope you enjoyed the show today. Next week, we're going to have Lou Marquez on. We're going to talk about equipment. So we're going to get more into the hardcore side of the game like we did in week 1. So hope you can join us again next week for that. We've got another Inside the OC coming up later in the week tomorrow, and another episode of the 20 greatest seasons in PWBA history on Friday. It'll be Robin Romeo's 1989 season that we'll be looking at for that. So hope you enjoyed the show, and if you happen to miss any of the other great shows on Bowl TV this week, feel free to go visit us on bowltv.com, the Bowl TV on YouTube channel, or right here on the YouTube or the Bowl TV Facebook page. USBC Sport of Bowling Facebook page, which carries a lot of this Bowl TV content as well. So hope you enjoyed it. Remember to check out Bowl TV, bowltv.com, and on Bowl TV, bowling lives here.